Hey guys, hi, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Steven, and welcome to Vlogmas Day 6. It's almost Vlogmas Day 7. I almost didn't film anything today because clearly, absolutely nothing happened today. I went to a meeting. I sat down with one of my sponsees and we talked about doing some step work. I was going to go to the gym, but my back went click in a way that said no gym today. And I got home, and thankfully, I saw an email reply from one of my sponsees, one of my subscribers. She had sent me an email a few weeks ago with some great questions, and I thought I would answer those questions as a Q&A rather than just answer the email. And tonight I saw an email from her saying that she approved, and that would be great. So Andrea from North Carolina, I want to say thank you very much for your questions. You're saving Vlogmas Day 6 for me. Is it Andrea or Andrea? Okay. First, I will apologize for the lighting. Buddy, my part-time stray cat, is sleeping in my evening chair right behind the camera. And if I turn these lights on to film with better light, he would be very unhappy and he would go hide under the bed. So I have just my dining room light giving me this light here. So I do apologize for this, but I'm sure you're not watching these videos for this lovely visage of mine, right? So let's get to these questions from Andrea. The first one is, does a flight attendant's passport get stamped when on international trips? And part B to that is, do flight attendants go through customs? So I've only been on one international leg my entire career as a flight attendant. In Vegas, we don't do a lot of international legs. I did go to Cancun, I believe, once. Excuse me. I sound like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. It's this cat. Oh my god. So I've only been on one international leg, and we did go through customs. I had to document everything. What is the word? I had to declare everything. I was told by a friend to get through customs pretty quickly. Declare everything. Declare every packet of hot sauce, every chopstick, every carrot stick, every piece of lasagna. Declare everything, every piece of fruit. Declare everything in your rollerboard, and I think they'll look at that customs form and go like, all right, go, get out of here. But you do want to declare everything. Tangent, on a tangent, my flight attendant manual has a little section on all of our destinations that have any special requirements. There are certain places that will allow fruit but not electronics, for example. I want to say Lima, we're allowed to take our phone, a cell phone, and I think we're allowed our work device, which is an iPad, but we're not allowed to take a laptop or any other electronics. This is what I believe. In certain places we can bring a lot of food, but not pork. You know, there's a whole bunch of little reasons that are differences between each destination. But yes, we do go through customs. So you want to be sort of up on special needs for each destination. For passports, I don't believe passports are stamped for each international leg or trip. I've only been on that one. They only looked at my passport and said, you're all set, go through. If we had to have our passport stamped each time, I believe our passports would be full really quickly. And I don't know much about them, but if a passport is full, I would only imagine you'd have to renew your passport or get a new one. I don't know how they would continue to stamp if you're out of room. So if you are a flight attendant, you guys, or have been and have experience with this, certainly drop a comment below. My idea is you would only have your passport stamped if you're traveling for leisure and not as a flight attendant. But there you go. I haven't had my passport stamped since I was 14. That was actually stamped, oddly enough, at Checkpoint Charlie, and that's where Berlin and Czechoslovakia, I think, met. It is no longer there because I'm that old. Excuse me. I know, pretty. So, second question. If you're an LOD, language of destination, or a language speaker, let's see, are the majority of your trips only to countries that speak those languages? No, I don't think so. In my airline, we don't have LODs. We don't have language speakers. Those airlines that do, I believe they do go to those countries more often because they are language speakers, but I don't think they're only required to go on those trips. The only person I can really think of that I'm friends with enough to have any idea is one of my subscribers' name is Sean, and he is a flight attendant for a legacy airline. He is a Hebrew speaker, and he was hired as a language of destination speaker. And I do know that he goes there very often because he is a language speaker in Hebrew. But I've also seen Facebook posts where he is all over the world. So I think he travels quite extensively for work, but does go to, is it Israel? So he goes to his language of destination quite often because that's what he is. That's what he was hired for. But that's not only where he goes. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. All right, animals in cabin. This is timely since I'm so allergic to cats. I have a cat sitting right there. And right here. Animals in the cabin. What if people are allergic or don't want to be near somebody else's pet? Do they have, and there are no available seats to switch them to. So, we have 3 reasons to have an animal on board. First is a pet in cabin. That's when someone's paid an additional fee to bring their pet on board. Excuse me. So they have a pet in cabin. There's an emotional support animal. There is no charge for that. And there's also a service animal, and that is also, I believe, no charge. But, so if there are no open seats and a person sitting next to them doesn't want to sit there, the person who is responsible for that area on the aircraft. If it's mid-cabin, for example, in a 321, and they're sitting up in the front sort of section, flight attendant E in my airline would be responsible for that. It would be flight attendant D if that person were sitting further back in the rear. And that flight attendant would typically know in the cabin, in their area of compliance, who is traveling solo. And if that were me, I would probably walk up to that person and say, hey there, I see that you're traveling solo. Do you happen to like puppies or kittens, whatever the animal is? And I'd smile and laugh a little bit, and they'd say yes or no. And if they said yes, then yeah, sure. Well, I'd say I do have one of our guests with a service animal or a pet in cabin, and the person next to them really does not want to sit next to the animal. Would you do me the favor and swap seats? And typically that person's going to say yes. It doesn't happen all the time. This is a sort of an unusual situation. I've probably only had this happen twice, where the person sitting next to an animal was not willing to sit next to them. One time, the solution I just gave you worked, and someone said, sure, no problem, and they moved. I gave them a snack and a beverage as a little thank you, and there we are. They had a nice time sitting next to it was a emotional support animal sitting next to them, so they made fast friends with the person and the animal, and it was very nice. The second time this happened, the person sitting next to them really did not want to sit next to this animal. I did not have any open seats, and the people I had asked if they would swap seats said no. They were very happy with their window or their aisle seat, and they were not willing to move. And when I let the person know that was unhappy with their position, know that I have really nowhere for them to go, they kind of settled in with their resentment and said, fine, I'll just suffer and I'll just sit here and be miserable. And okay. And the boarding door closed and we took off. I did stop by a couple times to say, hey, how are things going over here? And they were fine. They were fine. I gave them a snack and a beverage as a little thank you for understanding that there was nothing we could do. Because the only option was that they didn't fly. They could take another flight. And they were fine. Another possibility might be, well, moving the person with the animal, but it's usually easier just to move someone who didn't want to sit next to them. In case of an allergy, if there are, I'm blurry again. If the person sitting next to that animal is allergic to a life-threatening degree, I believe, and I don't want to get this wrong, I believe, no pressure on me, I should have read this in my fan first. I believe I could, and there were no places for them to move, that I could accommodate them on a later flight. So they wouldn't have to pay anything that I know of in terms of a fee or anything. But if they're medically unable to sit next to this pet, and especially if this were a service animal or emotional support animal, and there were no seats available and no one was willing to switch with them, I believe that that person would be able to take a later flight. So that would be a bad solution, or like a negative solution, because I'm sure they wouldn't want to. But if it were medically necessary, what are they going to do, right? So that would be my answer to those questions. And so if, again, you are a flight attendant or have been a flight attendant and you have experience with this sort of thing, feel free to drop a comment below and let us know what you would do or have done. There is probably no one or two just simple answers to that kind of question. There are so many small variables, usually having to do with the personality of the parties involved. If people are easygoing, pretty amenable, solutions can be found pretty easily. If people are hunkered down and resistant, there aren't so many solutions, and it's not so easy. So you can approach it lots and lots of different ways. I would start with lots of smiles, lots of understanding, and love. And then if all else fails, this is our only option. If you do want to fly with us, this is right now the only seat we have available. And let the passenger make the decision. All right, so, those are the 4 questions she had. So I've been talking for 13 minutes. There you go. Those are some questions from Andrea to help save Vlogmas Day 6. So if you liked my answers, awesome. If you didn't like my answers, awesome. Drop a comment below, or a question, or some comment as to correct me or share your own experience with these things. I've only shared my experience with this stuff. And my experience will change and grow as I continue with this job. And in the future, I might respond differently to any of these questions. So I want to say thank you very much for watching. And I will point out, if you hadn't noticed, see how many subscribers I have? 2,000. We hit 2,000 today. Very exciting. Very, very exciting. And again, I've said this before, this channel is not all about just capturing as many subscribers as I can. This isn't a race. I'm not trying to compete with Fly with Stella, but it is really exciting to see how many people subscribe and watch these videos. And I get emails pretty much daily thanking me for something I've said or done on these videos, and I can't tell you how grateful I am for these interactions. Today was kind of a boring day. Nothing really happened. It was also a little slightly depressing because I'm coming up on these holidays that maybe I'll talk about that during Vlogmas another day. The holidays aren't super easy for me, so these emails that I've gotten today about how grateful people are for my videos have really, really, really touched my heart. So thank you for watching this one. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe if you'd like to, and we'll talk to you later, okay? Fly safe and happy Vlogmas. Bye.